A few weeks ago, I started to discuss the Ripple solutions and the Ripple ecosystem. For the past month or so, there have been some YouTube chatter about a convergence of the Ripple solutions, bringing Xcurrent, XVIA, and xRapid into one offering. What is actually happening is that Ripple, the company, is actually evolving. Hi, this is Jeff with the HODL Report. Join me on today's video as we explore the newly branded RIPPLENET, and the imminent launch of xRapid and the Swell conference. If you're a hodler of XRP, you should be getting very excited by now. There has been some great upward trending movement with XRP. For the past week, XRP has been holding above the 50-cent mark and really keeping most of its 100% upward gain movement that we experienced last weekend. Now, there have been some significant news announcements which we've already discussed, and the Swell conference is right around the corner, coming up next week. Ripple just updated their website. That's a big change. Ripple is changing how they've branded, or how they are branding the product RIPPLENET, on the product offering, and how they are presenting it to the global audience. If you look at the homepage, from the homepage of Ripple, they're promoting in bold lettering, "Join RIPPLENET." Ripple is actually a lot smaller on the homepage, and they're promoting RIPPLENET. One frictionless experience to send money globally. And then they bullet pointed, through RIPPLENET, customers should expect to have access to standardized networks of financial institutions worldwide, send money fast with transactions completing in seconds, full transparency of the transaction showing cost and status, lower cost per transaction. So it's pretty exciting what they're doing. And again, I see this as an evolution of the Ripple product, not necessarily a convergence. I guess you could look at it that way, but it's really an evolution. So from Xcurrent, XVIA, xRapid, it really appears now that there will be two primary ways. This is how it's going to be promoted. Two primary ways to join and access the RIPPLENET solution. So you'll have the standard access and the full access, which we're going to talk about a little bit today. And both of them are going to have direct access to, you guessed it, xRapid. Now, there's also three primary use cases for RIPPLENET. You have the banks, you have payment providers, and you have digital asset exchanges. If I have a little bit of time today, I was planning on talking about it, but I have so much to talk about, I think we'll leave the three use cases that they're promoting for another video. Now, I initially really wanted to dedicate the bulk of today's video on xRapid, but really, since there's some significant changes with the website and the branding of Ripple, I wanted to talk a little bit about more about that, but really to get into the xRapid, the significance of instant liquidity to the banks, to the payment providers. But really now at this point, I want to get into how this is all evolving and the true evolution that is now RIPPLENET. So let's dig a little bit deeper into RIPPLENET and really into the overall branding. Now, before we begin to discuss RIPPLENET, standard access versus full access, let's talk about xRapid and why having instant liquidity is one big part of the game-changing solution that is RIPPLENET. So xRapid. Now, the traditional way of moving money, and everyone talks about this at this point, so you should be relatively familiar. But the traditional way of moving money, making cross-border payments, and we've discussed this in my previous videos, is with banks having to maintain foreign currency accounts around the world. Now, the significance of this is that there's actually about $27 trillion tied up in these foreign currency exchange accounts around the world, with all the banks holding money, holding foreign currency in other banks. That money that just sits there waiting to be needed for a transaction, for a payment transfer, cross-border payment transfer. Now, this money could be utilized much better in other ways. So let the banks repurpose this money, right? So why should it all $27 trillion be tied up in foreign currency sitting idle? So xRapid, so this is the solution, right, of the RIPPLENET and the xRapid. So xRapid is the instant on-demand liquidity that banks and financial institutions will require to complete cross-border payment transactions. xRapid uses XRP, the XRP digital asset, which provides secure real-time transactions through the XRP ledger. Now, if you're following Ripple, you're following XRP, you should know this, that you should know a little bit about the XRP digital asset. I really like the ideas of that I'm bringing forth in the videos. I'm trying to bring everything down to a little bit clear understanding of what the technology is. If you're already invested and you want to know a little bit more about this technology, if you're new to the space, and I just met a group the other day, and every time I bring it up and they say, wow, Bitcoin, that's what they know, and I try to get into it a little bit more and explain what Ripple is, what some of the other altcoin coins are, so they really can feel more comfortable, because as we know, the markets are shifting, and they're shifting at a very, very fast pace. So now's the time for people to get on board, and too many people are really just sitting on the sidelines. So by utilizing on-demand liquidity of xRapid, banks will save a huge amount of money by not keeping foreign currency accounts spread all over the world, while being able to provide a real-time payment solution. Now, there's nothing currently available that rivals the RIPPLENET solution, not Swift, not their new GPI. There just isn't anything like it. So how does a bank or payment provider get access to RIPPLENET? Now, they've rebranded, so let's talk about the rebranding. Standard access. In my previous video, we talked a little bit about XVIA. So standard access, gaining standard access to the RIPPLENET, this is essentially XVIA. This is a payment protocol to allow party A to make payments to party B using RIPPLENET through a standardized API interface. So the standard access is really for those who need to complete a transaction with another party. We're talking about institutions, not necessarily individuals, but institutions, banks, payment providers, financial institutions. Say a financial institution A moving money to financial institution B. They're going to be using the standard access. So the way they bullet pointed the explanation, if this is all you're going to be doing, then all you need is standard access. So you can easily send payments through RIPPLENET with the standard API connectivity, reduce reconciliation issues by including rich payment data and invoices, that sort of thing. Receive guaranteed transaction fees prior to sending a payment. Gain end-to-end transparency into payment status. Remove risk with real-time settlement. So this really gets into now what their standard access is. I think it also bullet points it very nicely as they're promoting it to their consumers. It's simplifying the process, and in the sales process, you want to simplify and make it easy for a customer, for a consumer, to choose which option they're going to go with. So now full access. Full access is essentially the X current. With full access, this really gives an allowance for transaction between two parties, similar to the standard access, right? So you can complete transaction between institution A and institution B. However, it also allows institution C, for instance, to help party A and B complete a payment transaction. So it also allows party C to still complete a transaction with party A directly, but party C can facilitate a transaction between party A and party B, similar to what a bank would do. And so this is the full access. Now, through full access, the way they bullet pointed, I like their new bullet points here. Through full access, banks or financial institutions are able to contribute to a single rule book, enabling a standardized payments network. And I talked a little bit about the rule book and the standardized network that the RIPPLENET partners will belong to. And so bullet point number 2, easily send payments through RIPPLENET with standard API connectivity. So it's very similar. There's only a couple bullet points that are different than the standard access. Reduce reconciliation issues by including rich payment data like invoices, similar to standard access. Receive guaranteed transaction fees prior to sending a payment. Same. receive and provide guaranteed transaction fees, and provide FX liquidity for payments. Different. So this is one. So two standouts from the standard. You have receive and provide guaranteed transaction fees and provide the foreign currency liquidity for payments, as well as contribute to a single rulebook enabling a standardized payment network. And then as we go to the bottom, gain end-to-end transparency into payment status, remove risk with real-time settlement. So that's a simplification, I think, of the XVIA, and then this one is the XCurrent. But I think it is a very well thought out and well bullet pointed simplification of the two solutions. So either you're going with a standard solution or you're going with a full access solution, and you decide based on what your needs are as a bank or a financial institution. So now both the standard access, which is the XVIA, and the full access, which is the XCurrent, can work directly with xRapid and provide on-demand real-time liquidity with the digital asset XRP. So now RippleNet is a complete solution. The branding allows for a broad discussion of what RippleNet can accomplish with two programs offerings for banks and payment providers to join, again, based on what their needs are. There's no complexity of training to try to explain what an XCurrent is or what an XVIA is. It's very self-evident now that you're either going to need the standard access or you're going to need the full access solution through RippleNet. Now, when xRapid goes live, it's very evident to me that xRapid will be seamlessly incorporated into both of these solutions, into the standard access as well as the complete access, simplifying the process for all Ripple customers, all RippleNet customers, to gain access to low-cost, on-demand liquidity. It seems to be as simple as just clicking a box when you're logged into your API or your software. You click a box saying, yes, I want to complete the transaction utilizing real-time, on-demand liquidity of the xRapid, of the XRP, and no, I do not want to route my transaction through the old way, through my foreign currency exchange account. So let's say you're moving money from the US to Spain or Spain to Zimbabwe. The bank in the US will need the foreign currency exchange in Spain, and if you're moving money from Spain to Zimbabwe, the bank in Spain will need a foreign currency account in Zimbabwe, and here they'll say, nope, I'm using xRapid and I don't have to worry about my foreign exchange account. I don't have to keep my money tied up any longer in those banks. So banks and payment providers, I believe, will probably initially trial the solution before closing their foreign exchange accounts, but it only takes a couple successful transactions before they decide, you know what, I've got millions of dollars sitting in a foreign exchange account. I don't need it there anymore. I'm moving it. I'm reallocating it. This money is going to be put to use elsewhere, much better use than just sitting idle. And I'm convinced at this point that this is going to happen expeditiously. So as soon as xRapid goes live, as soon as the entire RippleNet solution becomes active, we're going to see an expeditious movement of these payment providers that are already partners with RippleNet. They're already on RippleNet. They're using XCurrent, but these partners will expeditiously move to the xRapid platform. It makes complete sense to have a lower cost transaction as well as on-demand real-time liquidity for the real-time transfer of funds, and the banks aren't going to want to use a great XCurrent platform and then go to their Nostros and Vostros accounts. It makes no sense for them to do that. It makes much more sense to click the xRapid box and use the digital asset XRP to transact to complete their transaction. Now, before we sign off today, I want to take a quick look at some of the keynote speakers at Swell. And the reason why here, because the speakers that we're looking at, well, some of the keynote speakers that we're looking at, this is really going to give us a clear picture of how important the RippleNet solution is to the global economy. Now let's try to reserve our political opinions a little bit as we see the speakers for their global recognition and standings. This is really meant for me, so I'm not going to mention anything politically at this point. I don't think that it's really needed on this forum. But so the point really here is that Ripple is attracting top tier or top recognized people to speak and present at their Swell forum, introducing a revolutionary financial product that is about to change, fundamentally change how money is transacted globally. They know it. The speakers know it. And obviously these speakers are getting paid a large sum to speak there, but their ego is at stake. They're not going to speak at a conference that isn't going to live up to the reputation and live up to the concept that they're promoting. It just wouldn't happen. So now, being paid, on a side note, I wonder if they're getting paid in XRP to speak. And so when we look at the #1 keynote speaker, it's former President of the United States, Bill Clinton. So Bill Clinton, yes, he gets paid for speaking, but no, I doubt he would connect his name to something that is promoting something that is fictitious. So we know just off of the spin, the reason why I want to go over these speakers, it's so significant that we can see, again, just from who the speakers are, that Ripple is getting ready to move in a huge direction, huge positive movement from this company in terms of what they're going to be doing financially. And those that are getting behind it, these speakers are coming out to speak to really get into the clear understanding, and they're presenting at a conference to really outline the success of what this means for again, our global monetary system. So the second keynote speaker is Gene Sperling. He was the National Economic Council Director and National Economic Advisor under both Clinton and Obama. Now, there are really some key points of the topic that I want to point out, and there's more speakers that are attending Swell. I'm not going to get into everybody, but some of these key topics. So we have the keynote speakers, but then right after that, one of the primary topics of discussion is launching a payment app that is going out to millions of people, and they bring the head of innovation from Santander Bank, Ed Metzger, to discuss, because they successfully rolled out and launched a payment app to their consumers. So this is the #1 topic on the agenda. Following that, there was a discussion on embracing blockchain. And if we look at some of the keynote speakers, again, for what it means to be embracing blockchain, Eva Kaili, chair of the European Parliament Science and Technology Options Assessment Body. She's a chair of the European Parliament. So again, top-notch person. Anja Manuel, co-founder and partner of Rice Haley Gates LLC. Rice Haley Gates LLC is an international strategic consulting firm that's located in both San Francisco and Washington, D.C. There's 4 key principles to RHG. Dr. Condoleezza Rice, former Secretary of State under George G.W. Bush. Stephen Hadley, former National Security Advisor to G.W. Bush, and Dr. Robert Gates, Secretary of Defense under G.W. Bush and Obama. So Anja Manuel is the speaker at the event, but her company, the Rice Haley Gates, is, if you look at the makeup of this company, this is the quality, the caliber of the speakers that are presenting at this event. And she's discussing embracing blockchain globally in the financial sense and the monetary sense for banks. And then there's a discussion on central banks. And so there is Mohsen Al-Zahrani, the head of innovation, Saudi Arabian Monetary Authority. Justin Farabi, COO of Payments Canada. Marcelo Yared, Banco Central de Brazil. So this is really, really impressive. Then they have a discussion on regulation, and they brought in, they're bringing in Ben Lawsky, former superintendent of financial services for New York, chief of staff for Governor Andrew Cuomo, Richard Tang, CEO, Abu Dhabi Global Market, Michael Diduak, partner Perkins Cole, Archari Supiroj, Director of FinTech Department at Securities and Exchange Commission in Thailand, and Ross Lecco, Deputy General Counsel of the IMF, the International Monetary Fund. So look at these names that are speaking. Again, these people are at the top tier of their profession, politicians, financial people. It's really, truly amazing. So now going through the new Ripple, the RippleNet branding, the site, and seeing these power players that will be engaging at Swell, I truly see big things coming in a very short period of time. And if there was such thing as gravity boots, I'd say get them on, because this thing, when it takes off, hang on, because we're in for one heck of a ride. That's it for today's video. Before I wrap up, just a quick disclaimer. All opinions expressed on this video are my opinions. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not providing financial advice. However, if I am going to provide you any advice, then let it be this. Do your own research. Buy only what you can afford to lose. Buy only what you want to buy and invest in. And don't buy or sell based on the FUD or FOMO that's spread online. With that, I'll see you on my next video. And don't forget, if you enjoyed today's video, please give a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, leave some comments. I'm sure this topic will bring out a few comments, and I'll look forward to seeing you on my next video. And until then, keep on hodling your crypto.